The Wall Street Journal reports that young people do not want jobs in the construction industry. Joining us now is Barbara Kavovit.
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 Close, though.
That was close. No cigar. That was close. This lady is the founder of Evergreen Construction, one of the largest female-owned contracting companies. Now, answer this Wall Street Journal story here. Youngsters don't want to work in the construction industry. What, they don't want to get their hands dirty?
Well, I think they don't want to get their hands dirty because they want to make a lot of money, and there's also barriers to entry. And in cities like New York, everything's finance, hedge funds, technology right now. So you have to be very smart to be a carpenter, a plumber, and they figure if they have to learn and work so hard, they might as well go into finance or technology.
But you don't need a college degree to become a plumber, but you do need a college degree to work on Wall Street.
Well, you don't need a college degree to be a carpenter, but to get a good job as a carpenter, you would have to join the union to get top wage. And sometimes in the unions, such as in New York City, there are barriers to entry.
But that's just New York City.
Yes.
I mean, you go out to Tennessee, you go out to Missouri, someplace like that, and you probably don't have a union barrier to entry.
True, but you also are not making enough money to afford to live sometimes.
Okay, tell me, how much money, and you employ these people.
Yes.
A carpenter, for example, I'm just picking it off the top of my head. A carpenter who's a qualified carpenter, works in New York City, part of the union, how much do they make?
$150,000 a year with benefits.
Whoa. Wait a minute. A carpenter in the union in New York City makes $150,000 a year with benefits.
And that's before overtime. Yes.
And youngsters don't want to get into that?
Correct, because, you know, it's a labor-intensive job.
There's no reason why not to get into it. $150,000 a year. What more reason do you want?
Well, I think that, again, there are barriers to entry. A lot of it, there's some union projects, some non-union projects. The non-union projects that are happening in New York City today, the labor force is typically less skilled. There's less places to learn.
Yeah, but how much do they make?
A non-union good carpenter could make $100,000 a year.
What's wrong with $100,000 a year?
I think it's perfect. I could live on that.
I mean, that's a pretty decent amount of money.
But how do they learn? How can they learn to be a skilled carpenter? They have to go to school for it. There's very few vocational schools right now that can teach you to be a skilled carpenter. So they have to learn at my company's time, so we can teach them. So companies have to be willing to teach carpenters and electricians to know how to do the trade.
Look, if there is a shortage of skilled workers in construction, surely, I mean, you fill that gap, don't you? You make these places available.
Well,
you train them, and it's worthwhile to train them.
And that's what we do, what my company does. We train them. We have women on the job site, field supervisors, project managers, and you have to teach them, and you have to have the patience to learn, you know, to teach these people that want to be in construction and want to, you know, be carpenters and
Okay, somebody comes to you, young woman, fresh out of high school or wherever, 20-odd years or whatever, how long before they make $150,000 a year in a real job in New York City, carpenter? How long?
As a carpenter, probably 7 years.
7 years?
Yes.
Oh, that's a long wait. Huh? Yeah. Take the point. Barbara, thanks for joining us.
Stuart, thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
Kavovit.
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 Close.
Next time you're on, I'll get it right.
Yes, you will.
Yeah,
thank you, Stuart.
Thank you very much.